My name is Prisha Mosley. I was 15 years old when trans-identified adults found me online and convinced me that I had been born in the wrong body. After a rape at 14 and multiple mental illnesses, including borderline personality disorder, this was easy to do. My hatred for myself and fear of re-victimization was exploited by the adults around me who convinced me that I needed drugs and surgery to be myself. At 17, high doses of testosterone were injected into my anorexic body, and 1 year later, my healthy breasts were removed. Testosterone had severe and irreversible impacts that I will live with for the rest of my life. My large, painful shoulders match my overgrown heart, an increased risk for heart attack and stroke. My back and joints ache constantly. Even as I sit before you, it hurts to speak. I am suffering with severe vaginal atrophy, which prevents me from even using tampons. Large parts of my adult life were taken from me as a mentally ill teenager, and I mourn this loss every day. My trauma was never looked into, and my desire to hurt myself was supported by my doctors and the community around me. I was exploited in my most vulnerable time, and body parts were removed from me. 2 weeks before I was written my letter of recommendation for breast removal, I was in the mental hospital for another suicide attempt. My letter said that I was stable. My surgeon didn't care about the scars and fresh wounds all over my body when he looked at them when he made me take off my shirt. He was ready to cut me up more. Now I live in a painful body that no longer belongs to me. The trans community tells you to kill your old self with a dead name and everything, and I did. The girl I was gone and has been replaced by a medical experiment. I support any bill that prevents someone else from suffering the harms of gender-affirming care.
So you were groomed. Am I concerned? Am I saying that right? Were you groomed by somebody?
Absolutely. I wasn't using that word at first because I thought it was too polarizing, but what happened to me fits the very definition of grooming. I was online in anorexia communities, and transgender adults came in and told us that the reason we couldn't eat was because we were born in the wrong body.
And how deep did that go into your spirit and soul? I mean, if you can answer that.
I mean, I believed the adults around me, and they would use random things as evidence that I was a boy. So, for example, I was posting about my struggles with my eating disorder online, and I was so underweight that I started growing hair all over my body to regulate my body temperature, and adults told me that this was a sign that my body was fighting to be a boy.
Yeah, sort of like when I was growing up, the fastest girl could climb the biggest tree, and they said she was a tomboy. Well, she's got 8 kids now and living well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Schlegel.
For the young lady, I'm sorry, what is your name again?
It's Prisha.
Prisha. The counselor side is definitely coming out in me hearing your story. I just wanted to acknowledge it. I mean, you have obviously experienced so much trauma, and just we are all listening to your story. And so thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.